Welcome to the LZ show again. This is part two of review. Got a lot in my head. That's why a lot on my mind. That's why I'm like forgetful and shit like that. But this is part two of me reviewing or prolonging my verbiage of just talking about my tracks on my latest album. So I was listening to my own audio on podcast, and I messed up on a few parts. These are all facts. Like, these are all written true life events that I went through in real life, and I talk about it. And so, but I have a lot of it I write off of my memories. Like I said, I was in prison, writing off of the experience I went through while I was on the outside during those times. And I got to be outside maybe like a year or something like that, or more, but I spent more time in prison. But while I was in prison, I was reflecting, thinking back about how all the times I was outside and what I did, and you know what I mean. So my memories are mixed in certain spots. Like I said, in Trip to Cali, and was it Trip to Cali? Let me see. Where I say let me see if it was this one. No, that was probably the Force. Let me see. Everybody, different state. Been. Where I say, which one was it? I got so much lyrics. I'm not like Lil Wayne though. Like, I remember a lot of things. I just gotta go over it maybe once or twice. But yeah, oh yeah. So it was Trip to Cali. Where I say damn, I just found it. I say that little bar where I say, mimicking the East, biting the apple like Eve, still dancing to our beats. We long ago put to cease, tagging and bragging like that shit is dope to me. Graffiti writing with bubble letters, that shit is old to see. Where's the innovation and the creativity that she? So that little bar right there, I was talking about San Francisco, but in general, California, because you go to LA, you see graffitis there. I just think SF, San Francisco, was more artistic, and they're more it's more chill vibes. The people are cool. Not cool, but are more better than the ones in LA, I guess. You know what I mean? So I don't know that, but that's not. I was trying to say that that my mind is everywhere at this point in my time. I'm in prison, thinking back, like when I was in SF, when I was in LA. So some of these things are distorted. The memories. But when I say went through your boardwalk, got rid of small walk, in the first part in the podcast, I mentioned boardwalk, like I was in Hollywood Boulevard. But see, I'm forgetting, my own memories and shit. Actually, when I say the boardwalk, I'm talking about the boardwalk on Venice Beach. So I was on the boardwalk on Venice Beach, not the boulevard. That's another scene. Then I go down and then I say, I walk through your boulevard, the floor with all stars, feeling afar, out of place bizarre. You know what I mean? That's another scene, and that's where I talk about Hollywood Boulevard. But the first part where I say went through your boulevard, boardwalk, I'm talking about Venice Beach, the boardwalk. So those little things that I forgot to mention in my first part. And let me see. Not too much of a big change and shit, but also, and in part two, right? I mean, in part one and track two, The Force, where I say, their hearts is callous, eyes is shut, ears are closed, moving with malice, going nuts without a hope. Their status sucks, not worth too much, brought down low. Even when lavished, they get stuck into their woes. Believe in fallacy and fake, they trust and sell their souls. So when I say, even when lavish, they get stuck into their woes. In the first part, I said, I must have like slipped my words or something, but I say, even when lavish, they get stuck into their words. I misspoke. I shouldn't have said words. I should have said woes. But then I clear it up and I say woes again. Just so y'all know those little. You won't even think about those things, but I'm the artist. I'm like kind of like a perfectionist at times, even though I make a lot of mistakes. So I go over little details and little things like, damn, I missed that, or I should have said this. I should, So anyway, that was track 1 and track 2. So now moving on to track 3, press play. I say, I'm from a generation that kisses and don't tell. You like to let everybody know how your girl felt, giving the green for the next to go stealth. Behind your back, she's knelt by the most held. So, the younger generation, they like to brag. You know when you're like young and you're like you just hit the age to get your license, and so you get your license, and then you got that fever, like, oh yeah, I just got that license, I could drive, and then they're so I don't know if that's a good analogy. Alright, so when so I'm in prison, right? And then you hear all these people, I mean, even on the streets, but you hear it more in prison, I guess because you're more desperate, but you hear people talk about how they girls, like, how they girls felt and shit like that, and they describe it, like, my generation, we would do things in secret, we wouldn't like put it in public display. I mean, yeah, we do some freaky shit, like we'll fuck in public and shit like that, and do some spontaneous shit sometimes, but we won't talk about it, we won't brag about it, like that's some cool, and especially if she's your main girl, like if it's any other bitch, it's like, yeah, I don't care, yeah, I fucked that hoe, and this and that, and I did this, yeah, put her on this, I could talk like that, but that's just not one of my things and shit. So what I notice is that they like to talk like that with their main squeeze, like with their main wife. And then I'm like, damn, this is why they always get cheated on, because they're basically telling the other guy, like, yo, look, my girl's this bad, I fucked her, she fucked good, and it's like, it's almost like saying, you want to try, like, just make sure I'm not around, and it's like they don't care, so it's like, man, we used to like do things and wouldn't speak about it, Hold on, I gotta pause. Alright, this is LZ again, back to my show. I got interrupted because I'm at work, and so I don't know, people hear my voice, they want to get close, and I'm like, you don't see what I'm doing? Like, I'm in the middle of something. I'm in my show. I try to multitask. You gotta multitask, man, cause shit. But anyway, I had to put it on pause, and now I gotta like see how I merge those two, cause this is a whole new. Let me see. Oh no, let me see. Yeah, it's a whole new fucking recording and shit. I gotta merge the first one and this one. Anyway, so like I was saying, shit, man. I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but anyway, so that first bar where I was talking about how the youngins like to brag about, when they have sex and stuff like that. I was just basically stating, the difference between my generation and theirs, that like, yo, we don't kiss and tell, and they do, and then that's the reason why, behind your back she's knelt by the most held, basically what I'm skipping my rhymes. Yeah, I say giving a green for the next to go stealth. Behind your back, she's knelt by the motel. So I'm saying behind your back, she's knelt. She's on her knees. You know, uh, uh, you know, by the most held. So I'm saying like she's on her knees, grabbing what's mostly held. You know, what's mostly grabbed. And basically I'm saying, she's grabbing my dick, she's giving me head, I'm just trying to be fancy, looking for a way to say, she's giving me a blowjob while you over there thinking she's faithful, I don't know. It's just that's how I write. And also I've been noticing, some people don't I hear like, some people don't hate that I use different vocabulary words. I like it because it lets me know who's listening to my music when I hear them use words that people don't normally use. Like for instance, I'll probably say debauchery, or what I say? I say just a rambunctious. I don't know. I'll say words that you normally don't use, and so when I start hearing people say those things, I'm like, they listen to my track, And the thing is, like, they don't even gotta let me know that they're listening to my music to let me know that they're a fan. I know right away they're a fan because they're using my words in the order that I use them. You know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah, he's a fan, but what gets me all the time is just like, why they don't just admit it? You know what I mean? Like, these words I put there deliberately because I know nobody's using them. They're not saturated. They're not popular. And so what I do is popularize them because nobody's using them. So then when I start seeing people use those words, in their vocabulary, I'm like, yeah, they got that from my track, So yeah, I like writing the way I write, and it's more poetic sometimes, So anyway, let me go on to the next verse. Where is it? So I say, I'm calling on a bird of prey from the far east, a man of my counsel with a far reach. Let's devour these streets from the youth seep, taking candy from a baby like a night at Halloween. So this is more deep, you know what I mean? So man, I'm trying not to sound too preachy, too gospel, you know what I mean? But basically, that little line right there, where I say I'm calling on a bird of a prey from, the far east. I think I was influenced. I was reading Isaiah. I was in the Bible, the scriptures, you know what I mean? I was reading Isaiah. I don't remember what chapter or what, what verse, but I was influenced because it was making a lot of sense with me at that time. And I was like, you know what I mean? I'm in the West Coast, and there's not a lot of people relating or feeling what I'm going through or can relate to me. So I was like wishful thinking. I was like, let me call on somebody from the East Coast to join me, or to like so that we can relate, you know what I mean? So I don't know, to join me and taking over these weak things, these weak people, I was basically saying, so that I don't be alone. So I know that I'm not alone in this. Let me call let me call another guy from the east to see if they could join me and taking over this whole city, and by taking over their shine or whatever, like candies from babies on Halloween. Because when in Halloween back in the days, we used to just steal that shit. Me and my cousins or my brother, we used to go run around the city and just like snatch bags that these kids already had, full of candy and shit, and just so it was just like, all right, we went Halloween trick or treating and shit, you know what I mean? But it was, not all the time. Sometimes we snatched people's bags. Sometimes we actually did trick or treating and went door to door and rang on doorbells like trick or treat, and I give you candy and stuff like that. But so yeah, I'm right there. I'm referring. Basically, I'm influenced by Isaiah, the scripture, and I'm trying to see if someone will join me, relating with me, and conquering these demons that's surrounded by me, so that's why I'm saying that, said I'm calling on a bird of prey from the far east, a man of my counsel with a far reach. Let's devour these treats from the youth seed, taking candy from a baby like night on Halloween. You know what I mean? So I'm like, come on, man, let's get together and beat everybody, cause I'm over there by myself. Remember, I'm alone. I'm a foreigner, and so I have no one to share my thoughts. I have no one to be like, can I cry? Like I have none of that shit. So I'm just like wishful thinking, like, yo, let me call on somebody from over there. Like come over here, join me. Let's show these people that we ain't nothing to mess with. So that's basically what I'm saying in that little bar right there. Okay, next. This is not for you who speaks in tongues, mumbo-jumbo sounds of hums. This is calling on the prophets, hitting them drums. One by one, I summon them come. So again, I'm more emphasizing. This is not for those who speak in tongue, all that mumbo-jumbo shit that they be saying now in the new rhymes and new music and shit that sounds like all auto-tune and, weird pitch tone voice, and it's no substance. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't even know what you're saying half the times. It's like, I don't even know how they get views actually. But there's an audience for everybody. There's a lot of stupid people. You know what I mean? I try to leave substance. You know what I mean? But people consume anything, garbage, anything. So that's what I'm saying. Like, yo, they saying nothing. They're not saying anything. They're not saying anything. So I'm like summoning. I'm calling all the real prophets, all the real G's, you know what I mean? Like, come on, man, I'm summoning these people. Let's show them what real lyrics is about, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Mumbo jumbo sounds of hum. This is calling on the prophets, hitting them drums. This is calling on the real niggas, hitting them the mark, hitting the beat, you know what I mean? The lyrics. One by one, I summon them. Come, summon them. I'm summoning them. Come, join me, So I go on to the next one. Yeah, these are gonna be in parts. I'm not gonna be able to finish. Like I already did like 8 minutes in one part, and then this one. Okay, anyway, because I'm gonna keep getting interrupted, man. I'm at work. Anyway, so I next one. I say this is. Oh no, I said that already. I say let's build the people and rid the feeble. Wake the sheep mode and shake the earlobe. Save the sheeple and rid the needles. Combat the evil with less use of lethal. So now I'm like saying, come on, let's build and rid the feeble. I said let's build. So basically I'm calling for destruction. I was like, let's destroy this shit and build a new people, So I'm like, let's build the people and rid the feeble. Let's get rid of the weak. Wake the sheep mode. I'm saying let's wake up the sheep. Let's wake up the people that are asleep and shake their earlobes. I'm like, let's shake their earlobes. Let's waken them up. Like, listen, save the sheeple, save the the sheep, and rid the needles. Because where I'm at, and this was in Cali, there's a lot of drug abuse. There's a lot of needles on the floor. They're doing heroin. I mean, they do this in front of you with no shame. They're in front of like restaurants, classy restaurants, 5-star hotels, and in the fucking they're in the front property, all around, and just like with no shame, just sticking themselves with used needles they find on ground sometimes. It's like, yo, this shit is crazy. So I'm like, and then like I said, the government over there provides the homeless people with free needles. I'm like, which I thought was kind of like stupid, you know what I mean? Like, I get it. They say that they're providing them so that they don't get AIDS or get contagious and shit like that, So they provide them with clean needles. They give them condoms and shit. Like, you see like cars or something that pass by and they give people condoms, needles, and food, like shit like that sometimes. But what had me was like, why are they giving people needle? Like, to me, that didn't make sense, because it only increases the user. It doesn't decrease them. Because it's like if I'm an alcoholic, right? And for the government to not like want me to like drink off other people's bottles, where we're drinking each other's salivas, they're like, no, don't do that. Here, I'll give you a beer so that you don't have to drink someone's other saliva in your mouth, type of shit. And then people go after those bottles, you know what I mean? But it doesn't make sense, because you're still drinking, you're still an alcoholic. So I just thought that was like stupid, you know what I mean? So that's why I'm saying, save the sheeple and rid the needles. Like, let's get rid of that shit, you know what I mean? And save all these addicted people who are asleep. Combat the evil with less use of lethal. So to me, those are lethal lethal injections, you know what I mean? These are lethal, like providing needles to people and shit so that they eventually kill themselves. It's like you're giving them the gun to put in their head to kill themselves, and then you're basically trying not to blame yourself for all the people that died. You're trying to make it so that it's their fault, they're the ones that are addicted, but you're the one providing the substance. Anyway, I've emphasized too long on that one. Let me go on the next one. You can't make Lucifer suffer wrath. Already he dealt with Zog's blast, became Satan, ruler of mass, and those that turned to ash penetrated Zog's kingdom at last, and made him turn bad with questions he shouldn't have asked on Job that he tested when he shouldn't have. So again, like I said, I was reading the scriptures, and I'm on Job now. So I'm here saying, like, you can't make Lucifer suffer, because he done suffered all God's pain, like all his punishments. He's in hell, you know what I mean? Like, you can't make the devil learn a new pain or whatever. He's already experienced the whole concept of pain and evil. So you can't punish him. Like, what are you gonna do? Slap him? Like put him in cuffs? Like, none of that will hold him. Will hold him from being his self. So I'm saying, he already suffered, and it's like it's his playground, and so he became the ruler of the earth, you know what I mean? Because God is the king, Zog, kingdom of heaven, but here on earth, it's all evil. So they associate all this evilness with the devil, Satan. So I say became Satan, ruler of mass. Already he dealt with Zog's blast, became Satan, ruler of mass. And those that turned to ash penetrated Zog's kingdom at last. So, like I said, if you read the scriptures, you'll find that that the devil or the Lucifer went back to heaven and had a conversation with Zog. Like, I'm way above this already, you know what I mean? But I guess these are like allegories for like little kids who still, need guidance. I'm on a whole nother plane. Like, I'm on the whole, what do you call it? Deeper studies. I'm in deeper studies, where I'm studying like emerald tablets and we're talking about like the archons and how the guy that you've come to know and is actually evil because he's part of a system that came after what God created, And so what people started doing is they started associating God with the ones who created the constellations, our celestial body, and actually that was just a small part of a bigger picture. And so not to digress, but yeah, man, my studies got way bigger. But this is around the time I was, still in trying to relate to people who read the Bible and stuff like that. And I'm saying, so according to this Bible, like, the devil suffered God's wrath, went to hell, died, and still was able to go back to heaven to have a conversation with God about little old Job there meditating with two other friends while his family perished and got sick and, everything. So they're conversating, and God in the Bible tells them, hey, where did you come from? And he's like, I've been all around, here, there, up, down, like, there's nowhere I haven't been, you know what I mean? So basically, by having a conversation with God, heaven has been corrupted, has been tainted, because now you have evil in the presence of purity. So it never made sense to me, like, how the hell can God accept someone to bring corruption in his holy ground? And on top of that, influence God to allow him to test Job. Like, you shouldn't influence God. You shouldn't even be in his presence. He already punished you. He sent you to hell. Yet you're in his presence without him knowing where you came about. And they, the preachers will be like, he knew this and that. But in the scriptures, it's showing like, hey, he didn't know. Like, hey, where did you come from? He's asking a question. You're God. You should know. And then Job is like, let me tell you about Job. I think I could turn him. And God is like, no, you can't. He's faithful. Hey, let me try. You got nothing to lose, right? So now they're negotiating. You know what I mean? So it's like, man, nah, that shit ain't right. So anyway, I was just talking about how the devil turned to ash and went to heaven still, and made him turn bad, made God turn bad. The God that you believe in, who created the constellation and all the archons, turned him bad with questions he shouldn't have asked on Job, that he tested when he shouldn't have. So that's what I'm saying. That I'm saying that basically what you believe in is something that you shouldn't believe, because there is a higher power, And that higher power is what deserves your attention, not what is being fed to you by the stories that have been watered down, I guess, you know? Anyway, so I go on. I'm so honest, I'm a danger to myself. Where do I fit in if heaven is our hell? You know what I mean? Because I'm like, damn, if heaven is corrupted, where do I fit in? Blast the old heaven. So now I'm like making a statement. Man, I'm like, F the old heaven. You know what I mean? Blast where Satan dwells. I'm like, forget where Satan dwells, because he could go to heaven when he wants. You know what I mean? Without God knowing and shit. You know, according to, you know, the Bible and shit. So I'm saying, I'm creating a new heaven. Swell. And learning from Zogs and Tales. So from my God, not the one that created the archons and constellations. I'm saying from my God, my Zog, Lord 13. The spirit in me. I say I'm learning from his entails, from its entail. You know, some people don't want to associate it with a gender. So I'm like, okay, the spirit that's in me, whatever it entails, I'm creating that. And that's going to be the new heaven. Because the old heaven, what they're teaching, it's not a heaven. You know what I mean? It's all teaching you. It's a cyclical thing that gets you back into repeating the errors again. So, okay, so going on the plus side, I've been getting mine. Hold on. Say, on the plus side, I've been getting mine. I've been pushing like a terabyte. But on the flip side, where I slice and dice, my nanotech got left behind, delayed to graduate to climb the next metric prefix in the line. The scales have tilted quite a slight due to microcosm not aligned with the macrocosms of the times, causing bad at times, no lie. The pressure from beneath the tides has been amounting really high, waiting for the keys to find the lock to release it to the sky. I know. Now that one I know y'all probably don't get. Like, y'all probably hear it all and like, what the hell? Like, so, again, I'm in prison. I'm reading books and shit. And, I don't know, somewhere I had a table of contents where I was reading the prefix, the metric prefix, you know, and it went in order. Like, you know, it would show you, like, the gigabytes in order, like, what came first. You know, I don't know if it was the gigabytes and then the, then the terabytes, then the nano. You know, there's like different names. It all goes in order. Like the smaller I guess information gets, the more numbers is added to it. I don't know. I'm trying to like remember. So anyway, I said on the plus side, I've been getting mine. I've been pushing like a terabyte. So I'm like I've been pushing. These people are on 5G. They're on gigabytes still. You know what I mean? They're like, you know, I'm trying to say I'm faster than them. Like, they're pushing on gigabytes, 4G, 5G. I'm over here pushing with a terabyte. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pushing faster. So that's what I'm saying. But on the flip side, where I slice and dice, my nanotech got left behind. So I said, but on the flip side, where I slice and dice, you know, where I make things smaller, where I go into the minute details of my nature. I'm saying I'm delayed and didn't graduate the next phase, because if you think about it, nanotech is not even in computers. Like, they have a quantum computer, and they're now trying to get it, like, you know, commercialize it, where they're trying to replace the normal computers. But quantum computer, it's like involving nanotechnology. You know what I mean? Because it's taking a lot of data, absorbing a lot of data, and this requires like nanotechnology. So quantum computer has been delayed from production, from being mass produced like an iPhone, because of their technology is still behind. It's there, but it's just not it's not advanced like other technologies, where you can go fast like a terabyte. So I'm just trying to come up with clever ways to show you that regardless of my speed, we're not as fast as we should be. Like, I should be a lot faster is what I'm saying. If we just imagine if the world was operating under quantum computing instead of the normal computers, if every household had quantum computer, you think people would be in the phase that they are right now, where they're just where they're like on 4G, 5G phones, and using SD cards, that I think if quantum computer was saturated and produced on a mass scale, like how like iPhones or normal computers are, that would change our behavior and actually graduate our evolution. But because it's not as fast as it should be, we're delayed this graduation. So that's why I'm saying my nanotech got left behind, delayed to graduate, to climb the next metric prefix in the line. It didn't go up to the terabyte level yet, So I say the scales have tilted quite a slight due to microcosm not aligned. So I'm like, everything is kind of like crooked. It's not aligned, because you got minds that are poor, you got minds that are rich, you got minds that are slow, you got minds that are fast, and none of it is like aligned to keep a steady pace where it keeps us going in the same direction at a momentous speed, So I say, due to microcosm not aligned with the macrocosms of the times, the small with the big, it's crooked. Everything's not aligned from the ground to the top, from the ground up, causing battered times, no lie, causing battered times. It causes earthquakes, it causes tornadoes, it causes earth pains, it causes destruction, people dying, riots, it causes chaos. So I say the pressure from beneath the tides has been amounting really high, waiting for the keys to find the lock to release it to the sky. So again, I'm in prison, I'm angry, I'm filled with rage, and the pressure from all this anger beneath the coming waves, the tides, has been amounting really high. I'm in jail. Like, I'm getting angrier. I'm not getting happier. I'm not getting jolly. I'm getting more frustrated. I'm getting angry. At what I'm seeing. And so I'm saying I'm waiting for the keys to find the lock to release it to the sky. So I'm basically saying I'm waiting to get released so that I can release all this anger and let it go to the sky. And basically I'm saying once I get released, there's gonna be it's like, pressure coming, when pressure busts pipes, you see it. So you're gonna see the explosion. So I say, next bar I go, sitting patient, waitingly for the doors to open, hoping what's below starts to get to flowing, exploding what's been holding treasures like diamond mines be owing, putting things to motion what's been slowing the whole globing. So me being in prison messed up the whole pattern of the world's behavior, because when I was outside, things was functioning normally. It's like how do I explain this? I mean, you're in prison. You're sitting down. You can't use your phone. You can't use a computer. You can't write. You can't talk to nobody. You know what I mean? So it's like your business shut down. Your Facebook is inactive. Your Twitter, your Instagram, your whatever, YouTube, all of these things, your life stops. Now none of it is going because you don't got a phone. You're in jail. You can't talk. You know what I mean? So everything is on pause. Everything is shut. You're like not functional. So I'm like, damn. I'm sitting patiently waiting for them to open the doors, hoping what's below starts to get to flowing, hoping that what I have inside starts to get expressed, like normally, like how it was before, like my websites and my network pages, it starts to go flowing again, starts to be with posts and videos and things flowing again normally. So I'm like hoping what's below starts to get to flowing, exploding what's been holding treasures like diamond mines be owing. So I'm exploding wisdom worth more than treasures and gold. So I'm like, damn, I can't wait to express all this wisdom, release all these treasures like diamond mines be owing. All the diamonds on the ground, how they be owing us all their shine and beauty by coming from the ground and just like, in our presence. I'm saying the same. Like I'm waiting for my wisdom to be exploded, to be expressed, like how diamonds get to be unearthed. Putting things to motion, what's been slowing the whole globe in. So I'm saying, once I get out, I'll be able to put to motion what's been slowing the whole globe, because because of my containment. Delaying the world with new information, new technology, that they don't have. So again, I go to the next bar. Still maintaining head above my shoulders from all the ornery flowing colder. Growing wiser but never older. Just a warrior who can hold up. You'll look back and see I warned you. And all I'll say is, man, I told you. Pretty explanatory. I'm saying I'm still maintaining my head above shoulder from all the ornery flowing colder, from all the damn, what I forgot. Yo, I'm using words, like I said, man. I even forget the words. What the hell is, let me look it up right now. I wrote it, but like I said, these somewhere I say just oh, okay, yeah. So it means like bad-tempered, combative. All right. So I'm like, dang, what? I use that word. I don't even know. Like it's been a while, So from all the combative natures flowing colder. So I'm like, from all the competition around me, trying to be colder, you know what I mean? Still maintaining the head above my shoulders from all the ornery flowing colder, from all the combative nature coming in colder. I say I'm growing wiser but never older. I'm growing smarter, not old. Just a warrior who can hold up. Who can hold up his own weight, You'll look back and see I warned you. You'll look back in time and be like, yeah, you'll listen to these lyrics again. And you'll be like, oh, shit, yo, he's right. And all I'll say is, man, I told you. That's all I'm saying, All right, to the next one. Everyone follows my bar first. Everyone follows my bars first. Without knowing or finding the author. Putting their mind to go farther while desperate to see my inaugural. raising the best of all daughters, unlike no one has ever once taught you, supporting the sons that I brought up, like only I can have thought of. So I'm saying, everyone follow. Like, I'm in there, right? And like I said, these were like spells, because I'm writing at times, and things are coming true. Like, people are dying, people are overdosing on I don't know, Percocets and shit. Facilities are being shut down. Things are malfunctioning. So I'm like destroying them little by little. Not just with my words, but with my actions. I was fasting. I was maybe not using the showers. I was bird bathing. You know what I mean? So all these little things that I was doing, these behaviors, was in turn affecting their whole outcome. So, because when they see you act like a certain way, they'll try to mimic, try to copy, and when they can't keep up with your innovative moves, their system collapse. And I saw that multiple times in different facilities. I knew it was because of me, because if it happened once, maybe it was just a random thing. If it happens twice, maybe it was just luck. But if it happens more than 3 times, then okay, yeah, my words are doing this. I'm controlling this situation. I'm not in here with them. They are in here with me. You know what I mean? They're in my world. I'm not in their world. So I knew right away. I was like, okay, I'm controlling this shit. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, so I got digressed. So I'm like, everyone is just listening. Everyone is listening to my bars, but without knowing who I am as the author, putting their minds to go far. So they're using their imaginations. They're thinking further by listening to my words, desperate to see my inaugural. Like no one has taught them before, because I'm supporting sons that I brought up like no one has thought of. So I'm like, they're following my bars, but they're not knowing the author. They're using their minds to go farther from using my words, my bars, and expecting my inaugural and all of that, but they're not in tune yet. They're just like excited, but not loyal yet. So that's what I'm saying. Okay, then I go on to the last bar. All celebrities high paid grade rest lay under my shade, saved, enslaved to a plate I engraved great, like ink to a page that I stained traced, for praising my name with a space made. What more can I say with my grace played? You might come to see my face, pray. So I say, all these celebrities that these people look up to, they're under my shade. Like I said, they're in my world. I'm not in their world. So they're little small crumbs, They're not celebrities in my mind. Celebrities to you, but they're not celebrities, you know what I mean? Like, they're small compared to what my light emanates. So I say, enslaved to a plate I engraved great. So they're all part of my scriptures, a page that I wrote, like ink on a page that I stained traced. So I'm like, whatever I traced, or stained on a piece of paper, they are subject to those things dotted on the paper for praising my name with space made. So I'm saying that's for praising my name with space made. So basically, I'm saying for praying. Because when you pray, there's a lot of space. You know what I mean? You're silent. There's no distraction. So you made a little bit of space so that you can have a personal dialogue with your Creator through prayer. And so I'm saying they're praising my Zog, my name, Lord 13. Even if they don't know it, they're probably calling him God or, Allah. But they're all subject to my God. because they're under my penship. And my God is great. My Zod is greater than their God, is what I'm saying. And so they're praising my name with the prayers that they make. What more can I say with my grace played? What more can I say with all this grace fully displayed with no effort? And I say, you might come to see my face if you pray, if you continue to pray. Believe and pray, and you might come to see my face. Shit, I might want to perform. Who knows? I might want to sell tickets again and actually do a tour. Maybe. I don't know. I'd rather make the money and not perform. You know, nowadays you don't even gotta perform. So, but you know, things could change. I don't know. Like I said, pray, and you might see my face. Anyway, that's the end of track 3. Now, going on to track 4, New Age Mindset. So this one I didn't write in prison, so you can relax now. Just this track. Then I go back to all the other tracks where I did write in prison. And these are not, like, I got another album coming out, by the way. Maybe September or November. And all those tracks are basically still done in prison still, you know. Like all my albums. Like I said, I was in there for 2 years. You know, 2 years, nothing but time. And time to read and write, you know what I mean? So I wrote, like I said, I'm about to come out with a 4th album in 1 year. And it's all based on when I was over there. And that still doesn't cover, you know what I mean? It doesn't cover all the material. Like when I start making more albums, I could still talk about things of what happened when I was over there. You know what I mean? Because I got so much experience, man. It ain't even funny, man. And then there's the writings that happened after I came out of prison. So all those writings that I did after I came out of prison, like when I was in programs or when I came back to Jersey, I still haven't promoted or recorded any of them. So still a lot of hella material. So anyway, so I'm going to this. Okay, so New Age Mindset is basically one where I was trying. Oh, okay. So I know how this came about. This was on the spot. So, you know, I like LL Cool J. He came out recently with this song called Saturday Night Live or whatever. Where in it he describes personas, you know, of different characters. So I was inspired, you know, I was like kind of inspired, like, oh shit, wait a minute. Not inspired. Yeah, like I was inspired, like, yo, this guy, he's in that, and with I don't know, like he knows, but those that I know about the culture, man, like he's raising the bars, you know what I mean? By, like, he had Rick Ross, right? He had Rick Ross and Fat Joe. But when he's talking about these characters, again, you got to remember, Fat Joe and Rick Ross are like newcomers compared to him. He's been in the game for way longer than them. But so when he's talking about these things, he's making them look like little kids, because next to him they're like little kids. You know what I mean? Because it almost sounds like he's describing their characters, you know, their character traits, while rapping with them, next to them. But it's not 100% directly towards them. It's just the concept of all of these characters that are existing in today's society, which to me they fell in that character trait, you know what I mean? But then, you know, Fat Joe and Rick Ross, you know, make their own rhymes, but yeah, LL is like stuck out because he was talking about, he was just more conscious, as far as describing different characters. So I was influenced a little bit about that, and I was like, you know what, he ain't that conscious, man. I'm conscious too. You know what I mean? Like, I can do that too. So I came out with new age mindset where I say, whoa, 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 slow your roll, young toad and slime. He don't know pay phones and landlines, quarters and slits with a dial pad to shine. He's texting and posting what commands mine. Not creative with his wardrobe designs due to school's restrictions of the time. Got him wearing uniforms to limit how he decides. No freedom in how he expresses the divine. He's realizing times are different from what the older guys describe. His zest is normalized, attracting all girls in line. And it's not how it looks or seems in the scene of a crime. His granddad is a material stud. So, all right, let me go right there for now, because, let me see, put a space right there. All right, so that part right there, right, where I started off, and I say, whoa, 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 slow your roll, young. So I'm basically saying, I'm trying to speak to a younger generation, a younger kid. And I'm like, yo, slow down, man. You moving too fast. And I'm saying, I'm describing the character trait. I'm like, yo, these kids don't know about pay phones and landlines, putting quarters in slits, using a dial pad to make a connection. They don't know about that shit. All they know is about texting, posting, things that come out of their mind and shit. Not creative. That they're not creative with their wardrobe designs because of schools nowadays. They all require kids or students to wear uniforms, and which limits their creativity process. And I'm saying, they're realizing the difference from what the older guys describe, how times are different from what the older guys describe. They're realizing, these times are different. They come from a time, when internet didn't exist. They come from a time when iPhone wasn't around, smartphones, when there was pay phones and stuff like that, beepers. And so they're realizing, like, wow, we living in a different time from these older guys, And I'm saying, his zest is normalized, attracting all girls in line. It's like his, now these kids are wearing tight pants and they're like, they're looking more feminine, but that's normalized, and girls like that, And I'm like, just stating the changes, the characters that's being formed, and I'm saying it's not how it looks or seems in the scene of a crime, because looks could be deceiving. Though they look feminine, doesn't mean that that they're gay or some shit necessarily, you know what I mean? So it's just that the times have changed and they're all like now into a new style, which to me is a degrading stance, but it's the new times, I can't talk about let's go back to beepers days. I can't talk about let's go back to monitor TVs and let's go back to MTV type of shit. So it's like you gotta deal with all this new flavors and stuff like coming out and stuff. So then I go on. His granddad is a millennial stud, looking like he's in his 20s, young. She ain't worried if he's a thug. All she wants is someone to love, maybe someone to fuck. He's looking for insight, something to jug, something to triple his buck, something to missile his bus. He's disciplined with a must, watching how he diets and grubs. They don't come out to play. All right, so let me stop right there. So I'm saying, his granddad, this kid's which I'm describing, his granddad is a millennial. So I'm like, I saw this, so I basically, all right, so this is how I started. So I'm at the park, right? I'm chilling with my cousin. He's a millennial, like me, but a little older. I think he's like 40. He might be a X. I don't know. I think he's in a borderline. Anyway, I think he's a millennial, and so he's a granddad, and I'm like, oh shit, yo, you got kids that have kids already, and I'm like, dang. So I was kind of like influenced by that, like, dang. So yeah, millennials could be granddads. So it's bringing in a perspective that most of these artists don't even think about. Like, LL Cool J is a commercial, you know. I mean, he's trying to relate. He's all about art, and he has passion, but he's been rich most of his life. He doesn't know the struggles, and he tries his best to relate, you know, taking rides and trains, and maybe going on bus routes, you know, with wearing a mask and hoodie so nobody recognizes him. He's trying to understand the people and still relate to the people who still lives in poverty, but he's like I said, he's trying his best. You know what I mean? It's just he's been rich most of his life. He doesn't know what kind of things to say. So I'm here filling in that, and I'm like, yo, don't think of yourself as like a granddad just because you're a Generation X or baby boomer, whatever he is. You know what I mean? Like, there's millennials now that are in your situation. They're granddads just like you. You know, is what I'm saying. You know, it's like, so now you can't just think about like everyone is like little kids and shit. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to like say, you know, times are different. You know, these kids are different. Their parents are different. You know, it's just different. You know, so I'm just saying like, yo, I'm stating a few things. You know. So I say his granddad's a millennial, still looking like he's in his 20s, young, because, you know, they look young still. You know, my cousin, he's like, he don't look like he's, you know, 50 or 60 years old, you know. So and nor do I. So I say, you know, he's looking like he's in his 20s, young. I'm saying these girls nowadays, they're not worried if he's a thug. Like, you know, back in the days, I guess when Biggie and Tupac was around, all they worried about was being around somebody who's like a thug, wilding and shit, with bad behaviors and just violent and shit like that. But nowadays, you see these girls and they don't want that. They're like, yo, we learned like there's nothing but abuse and shit like that. So they're waking up to the fact that, you know, it's not safe being around that kind of image. So now they're like, they don't care about if he's a thug. All they want is someone to love or someone to fuck. And I'm like, you know, these people are looking for insights, something to jug. You know, something to triple his bucks. Something to missile his bus. Something like, you know, something to bust a nut on. Something to make his money on. Something to give him something to juggle with, you know. He's disciplined with a must, watching how he diets and grubs. So, like I said, this generation and the millennials are not like the last, where they don't really think about their health, you know. This generation is worried about their health. They're worried about their body. They're worried about eating healthy, you know, just being overall healthy. So that's what I'm saying. Okay, next verse. They don't come out to play. They come out to slay. All they want is that plate without the energy made from the last generation displayed. They don't get cuts or bruised. They look for the gusto ooze without the soreness of muscle used. He's not trying to look cool by the use of coke induced, but he might try once some shrooms or LSD for spiritual woes. I don't recommend it to you, just supplement it to new, while I just caress it to soothe, while I finesse it to groove, and get you pregnant with juice. I ain't put a gun ahead and said choose. I ain't put a gun to your head and said choose. You exercise free will and jumped to the loop. You thought you knew and went for the scoop. Now look at you. So, right here, I say, you know, these people, I'm about to get interrupted. I'm like, dang, this is already almost an hour. Alright, so I say, you know, these millennials, they don't come out to play. They come out to slay. They don't joke around. You know, and then I talk about, you know, the younger generation or even our generation. We don't want what we don't want things that the last generation accomplished with the effort that they did. We want to accomplish it with minimal effort, is what I'm saying, to not repeat their errors. So I'm saying all they want is that plate without the energy made from the last generation displayed. They don't get cuts or bruise. They look for the gust to ooze without the soreness of muscle use. So now I'm talking about the younger generation. They don't get cuts or bruise. They don't even go out and play. They don't even play basketball, baseball, soccer, none of that shit. These kids are like growing up stuck on phones. So it's like, yo, they don't even get cuts or bruise, yo. They just look for the gusto ooze. They just looking for the pleasures without the soreness of muscle use, without the actual fatigue of muscles from lifting and making it and actually using them. So these kids are like different. That's what I'm saying. They don't work like us and shit. So I'm saying he's not trying to look cool. Okay, now I go back describing the generation that's worried about their health. You know what I mean? I'm like, he's not trying to look cool by the use of coke induced like most of these artists that are high on coke and doing drugs and shit like that just to get popular. You know, a lot of labels will sign you only if they corrupt you. You know, I turned down a few deals because of that, because I didn't want to, you know, pierce my body. I didn't want to get tattoos where I didn't want to. I didn't want to and I didn't want to do drugs. You know, they wanted me to do coke, sniff and shit. I was like, hell no, I don't do that shit. But they was offering me $1 million if I did, and I said no, because I don't know, man. That's just I grew up around it. I saw what it was doing. You know, I saw what it did to people. Like, I didn't want to go through that. You know what I mean? I saw even the famous people, like even when they did get the record deal when they were famous, like I saw how it was destroying them. And a lot of them died early. A lot of them, their careers didn't last. You know what I mean? So it's like, hell no. I was already smart enough to not fall for that. So I'm like, my type of people are not doing it to look cool by sniffing coke and shit. But I said, but he might try some shrooms or LSD for spiritual wounds. So I'm saying, like, cause I never tried LSD or shrooms, but I've researched. I did some documentary films and how these drugs were used to help you find yourself, be more spiritual. So I consider them like spiritual drugs, but like not things that you do on a regular basis, like drinking or smoking weed. This is, to me, is just like a one-time deal type of thing, just to like see what one sees. And still, I haven't ever tried it, but maybe one day, I'm not in a rush, I might try it, who knows? I might never try it, but that's what I'm saying. But he might try once some shrooms or LSD for spiritual wounds. I don't recommend it to you. I just supplement it to you. I don't recommend it to you. Especially if you're like younger than 18 or 21. You should be like an adult, way above 21. Yeah, I don't recommend it. I'm just caressing it, with soothe, while I finesse it to groove. Like, I'm just basically rhyming. I'm selling you something that's healthier than what's known or popularized, which is coke, heroin, fentanyl, Percocet, all these, that's what I meant to say before. People died in prison facility. They were ODing on Percocets and fentanyl, shit like that, So, but yeah, I'm jumping around. So anyway, so I'm saying, like, and get you pregnant with juice. So I'm like, I finesse it to groove. Like I'm trying to, like, say, keep you healthier by being smoother and get you pregnant with this juice, with this game that I'm throwing at you, so that you don't mess up and go to the more lethal drugs, you know. So I'm like, yo, you could try it, but try these healthier drugs, and only once, you know. Don't overdo it, you know. Don't go to the coke and the heroin and you know, fentanyl and all these other things, you know. So that's what I'm saying. It's just, you know, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be all holy and saint, you know what I mean? You could try some shrooms, you know, once. That's it. See what it does. But so then again, I say, but then again, I'm not forcing you. I said, I ain't put a gun in your head and said choose to do this. You know what I mean? I'm not telling you to do it by force. You exercised free will and jumped to the loop. So I didn't make you do this. I'm just recommending it, supplementing it, but it's entirely up to you to do it. And for those that did do it, you jumped to the loop. You thought you knew and went for the scoop. Now look at you. Now that you did it, look at you. A scholar, manipulating with power. Ego high as a tower. Now that you know how it feels, now that you know, right? You can tell others of what your experience is. And this is a little bit of manipulative. And because of it, your ego might push you to a place where you didn't expect, you know what I mean? So I'm like, your ego high as a tower. You don't cower, you don't shrivel, but shower the arrows targeted to hit louder. So you don't shrivel down, but you shower the arrows. You blast all these arrows targeted to hit louder, targeted to hit, just to make a loud noise. Open flower, diversionized by the hour. This loud sound is opening up flowers, like how sun open up a daisy, you know, like divergenizing them, you know, making them blossom, open up their petals. So I'm saying this sound, which is as loud as like the sunbeam that divergenizes the petals of this nice small daisy to blossom by the hour. So you could see this flower, hour later it blossoms just by the rays of the sun. So I'm poetically, of course, using metaphors, describing how this flower or this person doesn't shrivel. It only blossoms, it only grows when it is confronted with this louder noise, which is a strong beam of sun, you know. So you don't shrivel like a flower. You shower the arrows targeted to hit louder. You shower the beams of the sun targeted to hit stronger, the flowers to divergenize within hours. With your eyes up, looking forward and narrow, so with your eyes up, with your eyes looking to Zog, towards Zog, looking forward and narrow, looking forward to going into the narrow path where many don't go, because many rather go on the wide path where corruption is at. I'm saying this flower, this individual person is looking to find God through the narrow path, and you know, that's why he's looking up. So I say, with your eyes up, looking forward and narrow, it's been an ongoing battle, living with former and latter serving up as cadavers. So I said it's been an ongoing battle, living with, my past and my present, and either way, both of them are serving up as dead things. They're not serving up as life things. My past and witnessing my present, none of it is showing life, but instead it's showing death. So that's what I say right there. I say, a scholar manipulating with power, ego high as a tower. You don't cower but shower. The arrows targeted to hit loud, open flower, diversion eyes by the hour, with eyes up or looking up forward and narrow. It's been an ongoing battle, living with former and latter, serving up as cadavers. So that's what I'm saying. Now, next bar, last bar. While you look for the answer, a cure, not a cancer, to wipe out the pranksters. Silly you who thought I would banter when I could have advanced her. Instead, you dug and got sand up. Can you see from the infinite sand dust which grain can you man up? So that's how I ended. I ended up with a question, to get the listener, the audience, to ponder about these things that I'm saying. So I'm saying, while you look for the answer, a cure, not a cancer. You're looking for the cure, not a treatment, to wipe out the pranksters, to wipe out all these diseases, Silly you who thought I would just, talk nonsense, when I could have advanced her. I'm talking, when I use pronouns like her, I'm talking about the state, California. She's a girl. And she's feisty and filled with hatred, and just not a loving kind of girl, So she's evil and conniving and shit like that. So I'm saying, silly you who thought I would talk, crap, when I could have advanced the state. I could have made the state a little better, if only you would take heed to the words that I was saying. Instead, you dug up and got sands up. Instead, you chose to not listen and grab what was there, which was nothing but sand, dirt. And then I ended with a question. I say, which grain out of all this dirt, infinite grains of sands, picture yourself on a beach, and just all this sand, all this, which grain of all these sands on a beach can stick out where you can be like, wow, this little grain right here is earth. And inside this little grain that you found on a beach, surrounded by trillions of other grains of sands, you found one and made it earth. And I'm saying, which one can you grab? Which one of these grains can you say and call and claim as earth? Can you make this grain a planet? Can you make it a planet full of valuable people, valuable beings? Or are you gonna ignore this little grain and be oblivious, forgotten like the rest of the grains of the sands? So again, I'm being poetic, so that's what I'm saying. Can you see from the infinite sand dust, from the dirt that you're picking up, which one of these little grains can make it? So that's what I'm saying. I'm basically trying to say your life is insignificant. You're nothing. You don't exist if you don't listen to the words of higher authority. And that's what your man here is providing. But like I said,
instead they chose to ignore
the valuable lessons and stick to dirt, which is, drugs, needles, nonsense, homosexual activities, just more further Sodom Gomorrah type of stuff, All right, so that's track. That was track 4. Now track 5. Track 5 called "Here I Go." I'm gonna do another part. This is gonna be another part. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for another part.